Sweet Baby Inc. is a group filled with activists who can't seem to fathom the idea that they are absolutely loathed in the gaming industry, and the Sweet Baby Inc. detected list has proven just how sensitive of snowflakes they are and how they cannot take any sort of criticisms regarding their products. But now the games media is coming out and defending Sweet Baby tooth and nail, saying gamers are stupid and they don't understand what Sweet Baby Inc. actually does. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, Kotaku, of course, is constantly trying to stick their nose into discussions in the gaming industry, but they always have the worst take possible. I mean, Kotaku is holding on for dear life. They are not long for this world, but now one of their writers and their editor-in-chief, Alyssa Mercante, has put out this article titled "Sweet Baby Inc. Doesn't Do What Some Gamers Think It Does," completely ignoring why gamers are actually so upset when they hear the name Sweet Baby Inc., and she has gotten completely obliterated on social media, and I will get to that. But starting with this article, it says Sweet Baby Inc. is not the largest narrative design company in the games industry, nor is it solely responsible for the characters and stories in recent high-profile releases like Alan Wake 2, God of War Ragnarok, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but good luck telling some gamers that. Now, of course, yes, Sweet Baby Inc. is not the only narrative design company in the games industry, but they are for certain one of the most prominent. No one can call this company a small company or, an irrelevant company, judging by the list of companies that they have worked with. I mean, they have gone and created content with some of the largest gaming companies and studios in the industry: Sony, Santa Monica, Rocksteady, Xbox Game Studios. The list goes on and on. So yes, they are one of the larger narrative design companies, not the sole one. But when it comes to Alan Wake 2, God of War Ragnarok, Suicide Squad, yeah, they are not solely responsible for the characters and some of the decisions that, of course, were made in these games, but companies would not hire Sweet Baby Inc. to do work that they would not implement into the final product. Companies aren't just going to throw them a bunch of money, look at their suggestions, and go, we don't really care about what you have to say. That's completely against the point of hiring them. But it says late last month, one of the company's consultants discovered a Steam group dedicated to detecting games that Sweet Baby Inc. has worked on. The purpose? To encourage people to avoid those games because they had been deemed SBI was pushing a woke agenda by working towards greater diversity, equity, and inclusion. Things like diversity and inclusion are good things when they are done naturally. The problem is Sweet Baby Inc. exists solely to be put onto a project, dissect that work, and then tell the developers your work is shit and you need to make it better because it is not as diverse or as inclusive as we think it should be. It is a very unfortunate thing, but in the past few years, Sweet Baby Inc. has garnered a lot of attention and honestly a lot of support from the mainstream media. I mean, even Kotaku here, not that I'm very surprised, is going to bat for Sweet Baby Inc., even though most people are now against them. This group was simply to give customers a way to quickly look at the games that are on the platform, which is Steam, and be aware that Sweet Baby Inc. has in fact worked on this project. I mean, that's the whole point of putting credits at the end of the game, is to see what writers, producers worked on it, what developers helped create it. And yes, Sweet Baby Inc. is one of those companies that is going to be in the credits of the games. Therefore, if you do not like Sweet Baby Inc., you can avoid them, and that's simply the reason why this list exists. It's not in order to, go and harass Sweet Baby Inc. employees. It is simply to just make consumers more aware that, hey, you may not want to support this company, and this is a comprehensive list of games that they have worked on. But of course, Kotaku doesn't care. Now, it says, I spoke with several employees of Sweet Baby Inc. to learn what the company actually does and how the misunderstanding of its role in the industry highlights a far broader problem. Though the problem is that you are trying to spin this, okay? Because you know that people understand what Sweet Baby Inc. actually does, but you're trying to convince your, let's say, normie readers that the majority of gamers are stupid when in fact that is not the case. I mean, this Kotaku article completely ignores the fact that Sweet Baby Inc. employees were bullying and trying to cancel the Steam group and user that started it all. That's not very surprising though, but this is supposed to be some kind of big investigation by Alyssa and Kotaku, so we knew it would be a massive pile of misinformation and propaganda. The games industry has had its fair share of struggles lately, from massive layoffs to wildly expensive games like Suicide Squad falling short of expectations. Yeah, that's what happens when companies do not listen to their consumers. Their games are going to fail. So she goes on to say, I managed to spend an hour or so in the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Discord. She acts like she was some spy on some secret mission, like she infiltrated this group and got a lot of information. I mean, it's a public Discord server that anybody can join, and as long as you don't violate their rules, you are going to be able to interact with the people in the group. Crazy here. They bring up almost 2K members. There were already a bunch of infiltrated people here screenshotting everything, so sadly, just keep it cool, brothers. We can't let this server or Steam group get taken down, and that was the, of course, pinned comment in the Discord server. But it's so true. There are people, she is proving the fact that there are people infiltrating this group, trying to get evidence against them to try to get it banned. Scrolling down, it says Sweet Baby Inc. isn't forcing diversity, it's happening naturally. So 1 minute, writers at Kotaku are complaining about how the industry is not diverse enough, it's not inclusive enough, and we need more diversity. But on the flip side, she's now saying that, oh, diversity is actually happening naturally and Sweet Baby Inc. isn't forcing it into games. Then what is the point for Sweet Baby Inc.'s existence? They are being hired because they are a narrative consultation group who focuses on diversity and inclusivity and helping projects be what they deem more socially acceptable and politically correct. That is the reason that they exist. And she also goes on to actually talk to Sweet Baby CEO Kim Belair, and it's only one tiny line, which is absolutely hilarious because it's like they don't want there to be attention drawn to the fact that they just could casually call up the CEO of this company. I mean, that just right there is evidence enough that this was supposed to be a puff piece for them. Sweet Baby is at its core a narrative development company. That means anything from script writing to narrative design to narrative direction to story reviews. One of the things that we do is offer cultural consultations or authenticity consultations. For us, that generally means that we might be asked to look at a story, and if there's a character in it who is marginalized in certain ways, and the studio wants us to connect them with a consultant who can bring a little bit of authenticity, but the perspective is never that we're coming in and injecting diversity. That is so not true. Look at all of the projects that they have been part of. Yes, they are working in a lot of cases with extremely DEI focused companies, but again, they are hired to go over that work and inject things, whether it's dialogue or character development, that they think is important to diversify the game. But of course, this Kotaku article writer decided to post this on X, and she was absolutely blasted for it. She has locked her account. These tweets are protected. She could not take the heat of, you know, the article. I mean, it was getting millions of views on Twitter/X, and she just could not handle it. And not only was she receiving backlash because of the article, she also decided to make this little response on it. Hi, you can't be racist against white people. Thanks for tuning in. She is absolutely absurd. Okay, the Kotaku ship is sinking and she is going down with it. She is one of the last major writers who worked there, and Kotaku is barely holding on for dear life. And by doing things like this, it's only going to push them closer to the edge of closure. She is not going to win any readers by this type of post. And of course, racism is not limited to marginalized or minority races or ethnic groups. It is simply the unfair treatment of people who belong to a different specific race, which can in fact include white people. It is hilarious to see people like her put up the dumbest posts like this and get absolutely annihilated over it. I'm sure over the next few days we are going to see a plethora of articles come out from the mainstream gaming media. They are extremely irrelevant at this point and they are holding on for dear life, but Kotaku just completely ignores the points and why gamers are upset, and instead they just whine and complain about how people are being a little bit mean to Sweet Baby Inc. employees, and they just simply are so stupid. Gamers do not understand what Sweet Baby Inc. does for the industry. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.